Welcome to MMA Fancast. My name is Luke Pace, and welcome back to everyone who is already a subscriber to the YouTube channel. If you're not already a subscriber, please subscribe to the MMA Fancast YouTube channel so you can see more great interviews, including the one coming at you right now, a highly decorated college wrestler and a highly decorated amateur MMA fighter with a record of 5-1, Las Vegas himself, James Lledo. James, welcome back to the show.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me again.
Well, thank you for coming back on. It is fight week for you. You have a huge title fight coming up this Saturday for CFFC, which is a big, dominant regional promotion in the East Coast. And you're living and training out of Algeo MMA, which is in King of Prussia, Pennsylvania, more commonly referred to as like the outskirts of Philadelphia. How has everything been going with this big 175 pound? I noticed it's a bit under your typical 185. How's all that coming together? And how's the week looking for you right now?
Yeah, it's not really a big cut at all, honestly. When I I don't really even know why I ever was fighting at 85. Like I wrestled 174 last year for Lock Haven, and that was a 2 hour weigh-in making 174. So I don't know why I was ever doing 185, but yeah, 175 is definitely a little closer to my natural weight class, so it's not too bad at all.
Well, that's great. I figured that. I think if anything, and a lot of fighters, yourself included, I think when you're amateur and like early amateur, like you were when I first was announcing you for 247, when you're early amateur, it's probably not a good idea to cut yourself way down and add extra stress. You fought a little bit, easier because you were up a little bit. You fought a big monster in Ken Burrs, who looked to be about a weight class heavier than you when you fought him because he was cutting down 85 and you were kind of just floating at that weight. But overall, you're 5-1. You've put together a huge, massive amateur record for what an amateur MMA fighter is. How did this fight come together for the belt? They call it the next generation belt for the next gen belt for CFFC. It's their amateur belt promotion. It's a huge deal. How'd this all come together? Your opponent is 3-0. What are your thoughts on fighting for the title and your opponent?
Well, I immediately thought that they I thought it was in my favor a little bit because they had offered me three or four different opponents to which I said yes to all of them and they all said no. And I think that they liked that, so they wanted me to fight for their belt because the next matchup they had offered was for a belt. And I mean, it's who I am. I don't say no. So I'm glad that it was recognized and that I'm being rewarded for it. So I mean, I'm excited.
Yeah, well, that makes a lot of sense. That's always been your attitude the number of times I've had you on this show and just talked personally. The last time you were on the show was a very unique, I mean, for me and hopefully for MMA Fancast people, because you and your younger brother Jack had both won on the same card for 247. So we did a double post-fight brother interview, which was just really cool. We were hanging out at sort of the Lledo support party house, which was a lot of fun. And it was just great to kind of see you and your support network. That, of course, was out in the Pittsburgh area. What are your thoughts of your supporters and just being able to fight, in CFFC territory that's more from where you're from versus obviously you wrestled at Pitt and then Lock Haven, so you kind of transplanted out to the western side of Pennsylvania. What's it like building up to fighting what's really going to be sort of your hometown area more than Western Pennsylvania was?
Well, for starters, I can finally sell some real tickets because nobody wants to make a 4.5 hour drive
Right.
up to Pittsburgh, unfortunately. But now it's only like hour and a half, and I have a lot of people coming. So I'm very excited to finally fight in front of some family and friends that I haven't had the chance to yet. And I think it's going to help me so much. So I just can't wait for this opportunity.
I figured it's kind of the best of everything coming together and really working out with fighting for CFFC and then also it being closer to your home. I felt like you always had a great crowd reaction and fan reaction when you're fighting for 247. So I can only imagine how big it's going to be with being an hour and a half from home and being able to pull in not only your fans and friends, but also I know Jack, your brother plus Algeo. We've asked this before because you've trained at several different, Western Pennsylvania, and then Algeo. You've always kind of been an Algeo guy because that was, kind of your hometown area. What's it like? I believe he has officially retired relatively recently from the UFC. Bill, senior perfector, Algeo is the main coach and trainer at Algeo MMA. What's that been like for you, and how is everything going? Being connected back to Algeo.
I mean, it's been awesome. Like our whole team is so supportive of one another. Like we just like whoever's fighting, it's like their time and everybody takes care of them. And I mean, when I first moved back, some of my teammates were fighting and I got the chance to help them get ready for theirs. And now that mine and Jack's have been coming up, they've been helping me get ready for mine. And it's just been like more than I could ask for. It's been just great. And Bill leading us all like in that dance is it's been like a blessing. So I'm so grateful for it to have him around and be back around here.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure the whole gym is special and talented. I've known Bill way back when he was fighting professional kickboxing and Muay Thai for USKA Fight Sports, and I know he's also a jiu-jitsu guy, but I saw him just in kickboxing, so it must be nice to have a guy that obviously can kind of help develop your kickboxing on top of your wrestling base and your jiu-jitsu. Speaking of wrestling. I think with COVID, if I correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe you still have one more year of wrestling
Yeah.
left. Okay. And is that going to be at the lock? Is that the plan?
No, I'm gonna wrestle one more semester D3 back home at Arcadia. So it's only like 25 minutes away. So
Nice.
yeah.
Oh yeah, I know Arcadia. I know D3 a little bit more than I know because I coach track for Waynesburg University. Um, let's talk a little bit about that. Obviously, you've got the big title fight. We'll get back to that here in a second. But your collegiate wrestling career, because of the unfortunateness of the COVID response, right? You ended up doing a full 4 years at that was a mistake at Pitt University, and then Lock Haven. What do you know about the wrestling program at Arcadia? And we'll have you on again, I'm sure. But when I think of you doing D3, and I've been to a lot of D3 wrestling, it's nothing to poo-poo against. Obviously, Ken Burrs was a D3 national qualifier, but I would imagine you coming into D3 for a semester would potentially be kind of a great send-off for you. Do you have thoughts about how dominant you might be at D3 given your experience for so many years at Division One?
Yeah, I mean, I think what's really going to be different for me is that like I was done with wrestling like this past year. I was pretty much like done. And Arcadia is a brand new program and it's the head coach and assistant coach are my two high school teammates. So,
No way.
yeah, so it like when they kind of got wind that I was done and I wasn't going back, they reached out to me and the opportunity for like what you're saying, like a perfect send off and to help them out too as a brand new program, like it's impossible to pass up. And I like that's like what excites me. It gets me out of bed, like to go wrestle for a new program, wrestle under my like friends that like my teammates in high school. Like I mean it made me want to do it and it like I'm excited for it. Like it's not something I have to drag myself out of bed for and I can't wait for it and what's to come with that.
Wow. I mean, that's like a movie story in a way, right? Because you get to bring leadership in. I know from their perspective, I would imagine it's a dream come true because when you're establishing a new anytime you're establishing uh, a new wrestling team or new any type of team, it's important and it's significant. But at Division 3, because there's no scholarships, it's really about building a team people want to wrestle for, right? I mean, I had the privilege of watching Ron Headley, who was like a known Division 3 coach at Waynesburg University and had a national champion, and Jake Evans and a bunch of and a runner-up who's now Anthony Bonaventura, who's now the head coach at the Division II program that down there in, oh, I'm gonna blank. Oh, it's in West Virginia somewhere. That's close enough. But sorry, no, that's not Anthony. That's G. Anyhow, Division III is really about people wanting to wrestle for the program. And what do you think you'll bring in your veteran and leadership status to really help the younger guys that are coming out to Division III wrestling and they see somebody like you training and grinding? Do you think that's going to be kind of help build the culture of that program?
Yeah, and I mean, I've seen a lot, and like I like helping the younger guys. I was still doing that when I was at Pitt and when I was at Lock Haven. Like I love to help the younger guys, and to be able to do that again, like it's awesome. But like I hope that I can set a good example for those guys and like build a good team culture and help them out just as much as they're helping me by giving me an opportunity. So like that's what I'm looking forward to the most, honestly, is being able to help them as much as they've helped me, because just agreeing to do this is enough for me. Like
Mm,
to have a spot and have a chance at a postseason, it's all I
yeah.
really wanted out of my college wrestling career. And to get it, like I'll do anything I can to help these guys. So
Well, I love what you said. You're both confident and humble, and I think that combination is important, right? You've talked on the show several times about feeling like you're at a very high level in MMA as you've been developing. I mean, people can go back and watch, which I think is very based on your skills and your training. But it's also great to see you say something like you just did, that it's going to be mutual beneficial, that you're going to learn from the team, from your coaches that used to be your teammates, and also you're going to learn from the young guys as well as teaching them. So I think that's the great attitude to have. And a wrestling camp or a wrestling team kind of is very similar to the MMA fight team, right? Where there's people at different abilities, there's different attitudes on the team, there's different technical skill level, there's different work ethics, but it's all kind of with the same focus. And you mentioned postseason. I can't wait. Lord willing, you'll have a injury-free, healthy season, and be able to really see what you can do kind of in the postseason, and knowing that it's a new program. And I remember this, anytime I was on the first ever Waynesburg University track team in '05 when it was created. When you're on a new program, everything's exciting because everything becomes the best the program has had, right? Or you kind of start to set the early records. Well, let's get back to your title fight coming up. To you, what is the significance of, you mentioned your gratitude to CFFC making it a title fight, kind of rewarding you for not only your incredible record, but also your willingness to fight anybody. They never had to worry about whether or not you would take an opponent. What are your thoughts on potentially winning a belt that I would say 247 belt has a good reputation, but CFFC obviously has been around a very long time. Their belts both at amateur and pro matter. What are your thoughts on potentially winning a belt in addition to advancing to 6-1, which would be impressive enough?
yeah, I mean, this is like their first, like this is their inaugural next gen event. Like it's next gen one,
Oh
and
yeah.
to be the main event last fight for them to win their inaugural belt, I think that this 100% should push me up in rankings and credibility and my resume overall. Like it's a good opponent and a big stage for a new belt. Like I mean, this should, I have a very good feeling that a lot's going to change after this in terms of opportunity and what's open to me, and what maybe wasn't accessible or open to me before. A lot's going to change after this one, especially with the performance I plan on putting on. I know big things are going to come from this, so I'm very excited.
Well, and excited you should be. You mentioned your rank for Tapology. You're already the 11th ranked amateur middleweight, which of course you're fighting a little bit, under that now, but 11th out of 206 in the Northeast region of the United States, which is a really big region, and your top three, you're three in Pennsylvania out of 35. So you're already kind of getting some ranking, but obviously I agree with you. You had just taken out Tyler Dybert, who was 3-0 and had a very, good background in both wrestling, and his MMA was really good. Joe Tegu Teguai, I'm sure that's not how we say it. Joe. Let's just call him Joe. Um, what are your thoughts on Joe? You mentioned with a 3-0 record that he brings a good record in. That would be the second 3-0 guy in a row that you've defeated. What are your thoughts on Joe?
Um, he's got good skills. He's a hard puncher, and he's a college wrestler too.
Hmm.
Undefeated in MMA, and I mean, I do think that on July 26th, he's definitely in for a rude awakening in terms of the skill gap. And when that cage door closes, I think that he's going to feel it very, very fast. And obviously, nothing but respect. Like, it's a dangerous game we play, but uh, I just know where I'm at, and I'm confident to show it on July 26th. And I'm I watched some film on him, and I obviously take it with a grain of salt because it's old fights, and like I expect the best version to show up that night when it's time, but I just don't think he'll have an answer for me when it's time.
Well, that makes perfect sense that you think that way, given what you've been able to do already in your amateur MMA career. It looks like which makes sense given the fact that you said he was a college wrestler, looks like he's been taking basically one fight a summer since 2023, probably around his wrestling career, and having fought just in June. Now, July, maybe he's graduated and looking to increase. But it is interesting because he's 3-0 with all finishes. You have quite a few finishes on your record as well. So if there's one thing, and I would never say it, but if there's one thing, because I actually think wrestling for MMA is a very exciting combo. Sometimes people think that, wrestlers maybe don't bring an exciting skill set to MMA, which I don't agree with. I think it's exactly what you need to dominate in MMA and then with striking. But you're a very entertaining finish focused guy. He has all three finishes: two by rear naked choke and one by some type of KO, TKO. What do you think that makes as far as the level of excitement for this first ever Next Gen One title belt, main event title belt?
Yeah, we're both gonna go for it, but I just think I'm gonna be the one who gets it.
Can't can't wait. That's the exciting thing. Having seen your very first debut amateur fight, now being able to follow you and your younger brother Jack, it's been an absolute honor. I appreciate you taking the time out to come on during fight week, which is of course added pressure for you coming in to your fight. Who would you like to thank, whether that be families, friends, training partners, supporters, sponsors? Who are you grateful for coming in to this title fight just a few days away ahead of Next Gen 1 for CFFC and the title bout at 175 pounds?
Everybody that bought a ticket from me is like the main people I want to thank. My family, friends, everybody who wants to support me, but I have to give a special thank you to my grandma. I live with her, and like she cooks me every meal. Sometimes she cooks me too much food, especially right now. She's trying to cook me too much food, but like I can't say thank you enough to her. And obviously, like another special thank you, Bill Algeo. As soon as I moved back here, he gave me a job and his undivided attention, which is two things that like I'm just so grateful for. Like him taking me in with open arms after I've been in and out for a couple years now. Him taking me on fully and giving me a place to train, a job, and his attention and care is obviously something I'm so thankful for. And absolutely, last but not least, Matt Layshawk driving down 6.5 hours, I think it's going to be just to come corner me for a night. And like, I can't put into words how lucky and blessed I am to have this circle of people that care about me this much. And I really don't feel like I deserve it because, like, I don't know. It's amazing to see like what people will do for you when they care about you. And it's been so inspiring for me to be better to them and those around me in my circle too. And even outside of my circle, like, I they make me want to help people, and that is something that I hope to instill for the rest of my life as they have for me.
I mean, that's incredible. What a perfect way to wrap this interview up. You're always so fun to have on the show because of your great answers and also the skill that you bring. All those shout outs made just made my night hearing, because gratitude is one aspect of your mindset that you can control, right? You can control how grateful you are for the opportunities, for those caring about you, training, supporting you, for everybody that you just mentioned. I think goes a long way to developing who you are, both as a man and as a fighter. Thanks so much for taking the time out of your fight week to come on the show. I'm always honored to be able to follow you and your brother. And so thanks a bunch. You've been listening to Luke Basin from MMA Fancast with the one, the only James Las Vegas Lledo, just a few days away from his CFFC Next Gen title fight main event this coming Saturday, July 26th. Thanks so much for coming on the show.
Thank you, Luke. I appreciate it. Thank you.